Students, I am Shobha, Science faculty from Mangala Vidya Mandira. Today, let us learn the next chapter in science, that is chemical effects of electric current. Before going to the chapter in depth, let us see how this electric current or electricity will be conducted through the circuit. There will be many solids and liquids which conduct electricity. So that substances which conduct electricity or allow the electricity to pass through them are called as conductors. For example, silver, gold, acidic solution, salt solution, all these are some of the good conductors. Similarly, there are some substances which do not allow electric current to pass through them. They are called as insulators. For example, plastic, rubber, etc. Similarly, there is two different categories in the conductor itself, that is good conductor and bad conductor. The substances which allows the electric current to pass through them easily are called as good conductors of electricity, like silver, gold, aluminum, almost all the metals. Similarly, the substances that allow the electric current to pass through them but with a very difficult amount or very little amount is called as the bad conductor of electricity. Rather than being called as insulator, they can be called as a bad conductor of electricity. In fact, most of these substances allow electric current to pass through them under certain condition. So instead of using the terms conductors and insulators, we can use the better terms, that is good conductors and bad conductors. Examples of the electrical conductors are like salt water, metals such as copper, aluminium, and non-metals such as graphite. Graphite is nothing but a form of carbon. They are all the examples of the electrical conductor. Electrical insulators, again examples is plastic, rubber, wood, glass, etc. Now let us know what is the meaning of electric circuit tester. What is this circuit tester? The test which has been conducted whether the given material is a good conductor of electricity or not. So a circuit which is being used to detect that, it is called as an electric circuit or as electric circuit tester. So how to use this electric circuit setup? Here it is an flow chart, or you can see how the setup can be done. So we have one important thing is an battery, another thing is an conducting material. Either it might be any conducting material, as we have discussed earlier. You can take any conducting material. The main thing is conducting wire should be there, which can be clipped. And how to use this electric circuit? If you are using a battery and a conductor and a small bulb to check whether the circuit is working or not, so instead of a small bulb, even you can use many other components which will identify the flow of current, like a ammeter or galvanometer, where you will study all about this in your higher classes. So instead of a galvanometer or ammeter, the simple thing which we can use is a bulb. So if a bulb lights up in the circuit, that means the current is flowing through that circuit. That is a closed circuit. I hope you all remember what is the difference between closed circuit and open circuit, which you have studied in your 7th standard. Similarly, the brighter the bulb glows, the brighter will be the conduction of the electricity. So when the bulb is glowing with a very bright light, then the conduction is more. You can say the conduction is more. The same bulb, if it is glowing with a lesser intensity, then you can call that flow of current in that circuit is very less. This is how to test the electric circuit tester. Now, let us start this conduction tester one by one using different types of conducting material. A conduction tester is a device which is used to determine whether the given substances is a good conductor or a poor conductor of electricity. So, We will be using one by one, one component after the other component for this activity. So in the first case, it is conduction tester is used, is done by using a torch bulb. A simple conduction tester has an electric cell, that is a battery or a cell, and a torch bulb. One terminal of the cell is connected to the another terminal of a bulb with the help of a wire. The other terminal of a cell and the bulb have wires which can be brought in contact with the materials to be tested whether it is a good conductor or a poor conductor. So in any circuit, the two common things, students, one is a cell, another one is a bulb. So bulb, it is used here with the help of the conduction wire. So if the material is a good conductor, that the in between what we used a material, any material, it is a material which is used to check whether it is a conductor or a poor conductor. So that material should be in the pathway of this cell and then bulb. The bulb glows, and if it is a poor conductor, the bulb does not glows. So this is how using a torch bulb we are testing the flow of electric current. These are the cases of solid, students. Later on we will come to see how the liquids also used as a material of conduction. Here the second thing we are using, instead of a bulb we are using LED. What is LED? It is light emitting diode. Sometimes the current flowing through the circuit may be too weak. The filament of the bulb may not get sufficiently heated up to make it glow. In that cases, instead of using a torch bulb, we can use an LED bulb which can be used in that circuit. So that the LED bulbs, even with a very weak current flows, you can use it in a circuit. So LED bulb, students, they are available in different colors. So instead of using a normal bulb, you can use a LED bulb. So even a very small amount of current is flowing in that circuit, that can be recognized by your LED bulb. So in the end of this video, there is one activity. So in that activity also, instead of using a normal bulb, you can use the LED bulb. The third one is magnetic compass. So even you can use a magnetic compass to see whether the conduction of electricity is happening or not. So in this case, if a magnetic compass is kept near a wire and a current flows through that wire, the magnetic needles gets deflected. So we can use magnetic compass instead of a torch bulb or a LED bulb in a circuit. The magnetic needles gets deflected even if a weak current flows in a circuit. So as usual, you have to take a battery or a cell, connect it through an connecting wires, and there you have to keep an magnetic compass. So magnetic compass, as you know, it will be showing the deflection. The needle inside, it will show deflection when the current starts flowing through that. So next, let us see how the solids, different types of solids will show its conductivity. Some solids are good conductors of electricity. So like example is copper, steel, aluminium, iron. All these are the solid metals which are very good conductors of electricity. But some solids are there where they are very poor conductor of electricity, like wood, plastic, rubber, glass. So in order to show that they are good conductors or they are poor conductors, same thing what we had done in the early experiment. Take a battery, connect it to a bulb. In the pathway you have to connect this, any of this testing material. Either it may be an wood, plastic, rubber, or it may be a copper plate or a steel plate or an aluminium rod or an iron rod, anything. So it usually shows whether it is a given material is a good conductor or an insulator or a poor conductor. Third one, this is the very important factor which we have to study in this chapter. The more concentration will be given on this topic. So we have already seen how the conduction happens in case of solids. In that solids also, students, we are aware that some solids are good conductor and some solids are poor conductor. Similarly, let us come to a study how this conduction takes place in the liquids. That is, when you use a liquid as a material medium, how the conduction takes place and which are the liquid which allow this conduction to happen. Some good liquids are very good conductors of electricity. For example, tap water, salt solution, hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide, etc. These are all the good conductors of electricity, as you know, because each and everything, this in case of hydrochloric acid, you are having H plus and Cl minus ions, and in sodium hydroxide Na plus and OH minus ions. In case of salt, NaCl, Na plus and Cl minus ion, and in case of tap water, H2O, H plus and OH minus ions. So in all these cases, there are some ions, that positive ion and negative ions are there, which makes it is feasible for the process of conduction. Similarly, some liquids are there where they are poor conductors. Example is distilled water. Distilled water, students, where almost all the minerals will be removed. And sugar solution, there the ions will not split up evenly. And even kerosene, spirit, all these are the liquids which does not have ions at all, so there will be no conduction possible. So as you can see here, students, same thing, you have to use a battery connected to an bulb. Usually prefer LED bulbs. To other end of the battery and the bulb will be connected to an rods, metal rods like copper, aluminium, any rods, and dip that rods into an beaker containing any of the above said solutions, salt solution or HCl solution or NaOH solution or any other solution. So this will show that the bulb starts glowing, and this will conduct electricity. Similarly, coming to the other examples, like you take distilled water and do the same experiment, you can't see the bulb glowing, whereas if you use the salt water also, you can see the bulb glowing. So as I said, at the end of the video there will be an activity, students. You can perform any one of this activity and display it in the project book. The next one is chemical effect of electric current. So far we have seen how this electric current will be passed in different materials, in case of solids and in case of liquids. So particularly taking this liquid as a material of conduction, let us see how this chemical effect will happen. When the electric current passes through an conducting solution, like conducting solution is nothing but any salt solution or an NC acid solution or any base solution, it causes some chemical reactions to happen. Such type of reactions or such type of effect is called as chemical effect of electric current. Hope you understood, students. I'll repeat once again. When electric current is being passed through a conducting solution, that is a liquid medium, it result in some chemical reactions to happen. Such type of effect is called as chemical effect of electric current. So that is what we are going to focus in much detail. So chemical effect of electric current may cause the formation of gas bubbles at the electrodes. So you may ask me a question, what is this electrodes? Electrodes are nothing but the two rod like things, right? Two iron plates or two aluminium rods or two iron rods which we have fixed in that solution, that will be called as electrodes. So you might result You might see some bubble formation might happen near one of the electrode. Can you see in the second picture, students, there is some bubble formation happening. So that is due to some chemical reaction. Similarly, there might be a deposit of metals on that electrodes. See students, in the first example, initially both the electrodes were silverish in color. Later, after that conduction has taken place through the solution, one rod is silverish still, another rod is turning copperish. So this is another one chemical reaction which has happened. Similarly, there might be a color change in the solution. The entire solution may change its own color. So these are the different changes that happens, and which shows that chemical reactions has happened, either the formation of bubbles or the color change of the solution or the deposition of the metals on the electrodes. So that is one. And the next one is with the electrolysis, same chemical effect of electric current. We are having another one concept called as electrolysis. Electro means passing electricity, lysis means breaking down, electrolysis of water means we are breaking down the water. So you are aware that water is made up of H2O, that is two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So splitting up this atoms using electricity is called as electrolysis of water. So we have to, for this purpose, what we have to do is we have to take an tank or an it is called as an voltmeter. So inside this you have to fill it up with water. So insert two test tubes, inverted test tube which is filled with water in inside that trough containing, that is voltmeter containing water, and connect it with an, below it will be connected to the metal rods that is called as electrodes. That electrodes in turn it will be connected to the battery. So plus sign is called as anode and minus sign is called as cathode. So when electric current through the battery, when the electric current is passed through the water, in water it splits up into hydrogen and oxygen. This is called as electrolysis of water. When the electric current is passed through the water, this oxygen gas bubbles are produced at the electrode connected to the positive terminal, that is at the anode. Which gas will be produced, students? Oxygen gas. Similarly, the hydrogen gas bubble starts being producing at an electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, that is cathode. So in the picture you can see where is anode and the cathode. In the second picture you observe. Okay, so when the electricity is passed through this, so water will split up into H plus and O minus, where O minus, that is oxygen, will be collected at anode and hydrogen will be collected at cathode. So if you see the two test tubes, students, can you see that oxygen collected in the test tube and the hydrogen collected in this test tube are the same? No. So hydrogen will be collected in more quantity compared to the oxygen. That is because in a water molecule there are two atoms of hydrogen and only one atom of oxygen. So wherever hydrogen is getting collected, so it will be having more gas. Wherever oxygen is getting collected, it will be having less gas. So this is called as electrolysis of water. So electrolysis of water, and previously what we have studied is this chemical effect of electric current. All it is based on the concept that liquids also do conduct electricity. So let us move to the another one more application, that is called as electroplating. So before going to this electroplating, students, I'll just roughly give you some electroplated articles so that you will be understanding this concept better. So if at all, if you win any of the competitions at the schools or any competitions, you will be awarded with some medals. So they will be telling you it is a gold medal, silver medal and all, but it will be it truly made up of silver or gold? No. So it is an usual normal metal which is being coated with gold or silver or bronze. Similarly, your taps at home will be having silvery shiny color, steel taps. So is it that it is made up of silver? No, it has been given a coating of that silvery appearance. So how all this is being done? So that is done by a process called electroplating. It is called as coating. This is being electroplated. One metal is being electroplated by another metal at the top. The process of depositing a layer of any desired metal on another material by the means of electricity is called as electroplating. So that is what I said. So on a iron medal, if you want to give an gold finishing, deposition of the gold layer on the another material, either it may be a bronze, iron, aluminum, that is called as electroplating. That is to be done using electricity. For example, for electroplating of an copper on an object, the object is first dipped in acidified solution of copper sulfate, and then it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. A copper strip is dipped in the solution of connected to the positive and the negative terminal of the battery. When the electric current is passed through them from the solution, copper from the copper strip is deposited on the solution. So hope you have understood the same thing. So first we have to take an voltmeter, that is nothing but that rough. Inside this, whatever the desired metal, you have to deposit on the any other metal. For example, if you want to keep a copper coating, you take copper sulfate solution. If you want to give a silver chloride coating, you take silver chloride solution. That solution to be taken in a beaker. So inside that you have to fix two electrodes, so which is also copper. If you are using copper, copper only should be used. One electrode is a pure copper rod, another electrode is a impure copper rod. So once it is being connected to a battery and the electric current starts flowing, so from the anode, the copper starts depositing into the solution. From the solution, the copper again starts depositing on the cathode. So this is how one of the electrode gets coated with the copper. So where are this electroplating being used? What is the application of electroplating? Initially only I said in the medals, or it has been the taps, etc. Similarly, apart from that, electroplating is used in the industries for coating metal objects with a thin layer of the desired metal. So which is required for that, for us that metal can be coated on different metals. Chromium has a shiny appearance and it does not corrode. Hence, this chromium plating is done on the objects like bicycle parts, car parts, taps, gas burners, wheel rims, etc. Similarly, jewelry makers electroplate gold or silver on less expensive metals to give the appearance of gold or silver. So, what you call it as electroplated gold or electroplated silver items. It will not be a pure gold or pure silver, it will be just given a coating. Tin cans can be used for storing food or also electroplated, wherein the tin is being covered over the iron tin, because tin is very less reactive than the iron and it protects the iron from corrosion. So two things, iron will usually react very fastly with the food items, and also iron will get rusted very fast. So in order to prevent this too, it has been given a thin coating of tin. Similarly, iron object is also coated with the zinc to protect it from the corrosion. So these are all the different types of electroplating examples. So what is the activity that has to be done by you? So as I said, you have to develop an electric circuit, one using an metal, solid metal, and the second one is using an liquid electrolyte, either lemon juice or a vinegar, because I have mentioned it can be used in salt solution also, you can go for that, or using vinegar. Vinegar is nothing but an acetic acid, again acid is there, or you can use lemon juice because citric acid is there, or if you are having any base like sodium hydroxide, you can go for that, or simple tap water. Okay, you can do an electric circuit. You have to draw the same in the project books and you have to submit. Thank you.